So the future belongs to people having skills and not degrees, right? Because that's what people actually care about. Something which I did wrong was following the crowd or following the stereotypes, right? I was preparing for IITs. I had this in my mind that I want to do this or something else, but I was just following the path of others. But I would say one of my biggest learnings in the last 5 years has been that the biggest risk you can take is not take any risks. You need to take the fall, right? You need to take the leap of faith and figure out how to survive on the way. So one of my mentors, Dr. Ritesh Malik, he taught me one thing which I always remember: plan with patience, but execute with impatience, right? Execute violently with impatience.
What's good, everybody? Another entrepreneurship-based interview. I'm with my brother, Aayush Jaiswal today. So, he's a brother who's completely changing up the way Indians work. He's trying to change the entire occupational world of Indians. And above all, he's giving Indians much bigger pay packages than they've ever seen. Bhai, the top colleges in the country do give good pay packages. And your company, Pesto, is now coming out with pay packages that are even bigger than those. So firstly, bhai, thank you for being on Beer Biceps. Secondly, बहुत ही जल्द से explain what Pesto does and how you all are giving people so much money.
Awesome. So we realize that opportunities exist globally, right? But they just don't exist at the right places. So we say that we take opportunities to places where talent exists, right? So as you mentioned that the best colleges do have good opportunities, but that's just like 2,000 students. But there are more than 100,000 engineering students alone, which India, graduates every single year. What about talent which exists in those 100,000 people? So we came up with this idea where we said that we are going to give free education, no fee upfront education to everyone, and we won't charge them anything if they make less than 15 LPA. We do train them for 3 months, and after training them for 3 months, we place them as remote employees in US tech companies or European tech companies, and we give them those opportunities, right? So they not only get great pay packages, but they also get huge opportunities in terms of learning, in terms of working with better people. So their personal growth curve just spikes.
Wow. So basically, your company sets up people's careers.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm sure that you've changed many people's lives. But again, for me, I feel it boils down to the economics. So if you're okay with it, how much does an average Pesto alumni earn, like from one of the placements?
So currently, based on our previous records, the average placement is around $42,000, which is about 31 lakhs. And the maximum which we have gone is that we just heard this good news yesterday. So one of our graduates who got placed for $47,000, he got a bump in his salary and he'll get $75,000 post-April.
Which is how much in rupees?
It's somewhere around 60 lakhs or something.
Wow.
Yeah, 55 to 60. Yeah.
Bro, so you've set up this company that gives people these 60 lakhs per annum pay packages. And somewhere I feel for you, you're trying to, I won't say fight, but you're trying to combat the Indian education system. So, you dropped out of engineering college, and I'm an engineer myself. We both know the dark side of engineering colleges. What was going on in your head then?
So, I kind of spent my first semester being very happy. I didn't have anything against college per se, but I just felt that I don't belong there after the first semester because I realized that I'm spending a lot of time playing FIFA, football, or other things, watching movies, like all the movies I've watched is during that time, right? And I felt that I was really passionate about building things, and I was just not getting enough opportunities to do that. So one day I just decided that I'm not going to do this. I found myself really sad. I used to cry on the terrace, like all my college friends thought I was depressed, and I didn't really enjoy that period of my life. So I just stopped going to college after a year or less than that. If you go into colleges, teachers would themselves tell you that you have to learn things by yourself, and if you just stick to college, you won't get a good career, right? And if that's the case, then the value of those 4 years decreases, or the value of those 4 years may be not worth it for a lot of people, right? Technology is changing faster than ever. What's relevant today will not be relevant after 2 years, right? And if that's the case, then we would need colleges to adopt and change in a faster way. But that's not possible because these universities are governed by some other body. So they just cannot change fast enough. And then I just thought that it doesn't make sense for me to spend 4 years when I can learn by myself and do better things or different things which I was excited about. So that's why I thought that college education didn't make sense for me. It may make sense for a lot of other people, but I feel that if you're in tech, then it gets different just because of the sheer pace of evolution of technology.
Bro, so there's a lot of kids who are really inspired by just these words, these pay packages and setting up careers. If a kid wants to apply to Pesto and go through the Pesto program, what are they supposed to do?
So we essentially look for very strong computer science fundamentals and a great attitude, right? So we don't only look for their technical skills, we look for their soft skills as well, like how they are as a person. Like being a good person is a superpower, right? So we have a culture code of 4 H's and 1D. It's called being happy, humble, honest, and hungry. And 1D describes discipline. Okay. So we look for strong CS fundamentals, and I would say if you're starting out in web development, you just start working, like go on the web, figure out different courses and start learning, right? We have created an open source curriculum for everyone, which is free for all, right? This is a pre-curriculum for Pesto. So everything which we look for is compressed into this curriculum, right?
So if anyone wants to apply to Pesto, they can just log on to Google, get this free of cost
curriculum. Yeah. So they can get this free of cost curriculum. They just need to type like GitHub Pesto curriculum. The first link is us, right? So they can study this, and whenever they feel they're ready, they can apply on our website. It's completely automated. They'll have to take a test, and we will get back to them with the message that they're accepted or rejected, right?
Crazy. What is the business model of Pesto? How does Pesto actually make the money?
Everybody wins together, right? So I figured out a way. We sat together and we found that what if we make the entire curriculum free for everyone upfront, because it's really hard for people to afford really good quality education, right? So we made the entire curriculum free upfront. We even give you food, office space and other things, and we help you go through this, right? And the way we have structured this is that we charge you 17% of your salary for next 3 years, but only if you make more than 15 lakhs a year, right? If you make anything less than that, then we think that we haven't done our job, right? So you pay nothing.
Bro, so when people are listening to you talk about the scores and jobs, the automatic assumption that comes in a lot of people's head is that they don't know coding. So specifically about coding, would you suggest that it's something learnable? Like, is code something that anyone can learn?
Now, I'll tell you a stat. Most of our graduates, most of the people who have actually been to Pesto, more than 50% of them don't have a CS degree. Wow. And that's fascinating. We found that people who don't actually belong to CS are, they have higher probability of learning how to code because they are more passionate and they are trying harder to learn how to code. Exactly. And the way the education system is evolving, and we believe that it's going to be the future, is that anyone, किसी को भी अगर सीखना है, make Google your best friend, ask Google questions. Your curiosity is directly proportional to your learning speed, right? You can find everything online in the simplest manner possible. If you're just a curious person trying to play around with it, I think you can easily learn how to code. And the second thing I'll mention is that no matter which industry you want to be in, IT is going to change every industry. It's already changing every industry, right? So it's always good for you to know how to code.
Bro, so all this is amazing, but I want to take you back to your past again. What happened in your childhood that made you want to become an entrepreneur?
I think it was 2008, 7 or 8, when Steve Jobs launched the first iPhone. And I was looking at the Apple launch event, and the way he introduced that phone, that I'm going to launch 3 products today, a web browser, a music device, and a phone. Then he says that again 3 times. And then we realize that is one product. And then I realized the kind of sheer impact that phone is going to have in people's lives. That kind of inspired me a lot, and I decided that I want to become someone like him. And in that instant, around 2007 or 8, I decided that I want to be an entrepreneur. And to be an entrepreneur, I decided that I need to know multiple skills so that I can, lead teams and have a bit broader perspective about what people are working on. And because I was inspired by Steve Jobs, I started with design. So I started playing around with Photoshop, mixing a bird with a lion and other funny things, like taking 2 legs off a giraffe. Or
So do you think the first step towards an entrepreneurship career is just learning one skill?
Oh yeah, so I feel that entrepreneurship is just a mindset. When you want to make someone's life better by introducing some products or a different model which just makes sense for everyone. It's just, that's entrepreneurship, right? If you can find a win-win situation for all the parties involved by not thinking about any stereotypes and can disrupt an industry, that's entrepreneurship, right? So I believe that anyone can be entrepreneurs, right? It's just hard to stick to it.
So there's a lot of kids watching this who want to become entrepreneurs, but they don't know the step-by-step procedure.
Correct.
So can you help them a little bit?
So the first thing is that when you actually want to be an entrepreneur, I would not recommend you to be an entrepreneur unless and until you are really passionate about something. Because entrepreneurship looks very cool, but it involves you being bankrupt for years. It involves you going through a lot of hardships, and it's way too hard, right? But if you are really passionate about something and you really want to solve a problem, getting started with entrepreneurship is super simple. Just go on Google, find resources, learn about how things are done, make Paul Graham's blog your Bible, and there are so much material which Y Combinator has, world's largest accelerator. Go through that and find a mentor. I think that is one thing which a lot of us miss out on. Find a mentor at early stage in your life, and believe me, there are so many people who would want to help you. You just don't realize that, right? Just ping people and they'll help you out.
A lot of people say कि यार मेरे को mentor मिल रहा नहीं है and all. I तो feel that you should just work hard. The mentor will come सामने से. Go out looking for someone, but that mentor will walk into your life when the time is right.
So I want to ask, sir, all these people who are thinking this, just ask yourself, how many messages have you sent or how many emails have you sent? When I was looking for a mentor when I was 18, like when I was, deciding to drop out of college, I sent more than 100 emails and I pinged pretty much everyone on Facebook, and that did not only get me one mentor, I just got so many people who wanted to help me, and that just helped me in so much ways to shape out my career later.
Because someone who's more experienced can always teach you how to walk on that entrepreneurship road.
Exactly.
Any career
It's just giving you a direction, right? So direction is always more important than speed. So one of my mentors, Dr. Ritesh Malik, he taught me one thing which I always remember. He says that always plan with patience, but execute with impatience. Right? Execute violently with impatience, right? So while planning, you need that patience and experience, right? So a mentor can show you the right path.
And if you had to go back and give some advice to 16-year-old Aayush Jaiswal, what would it be?
So I would just keep doing what you are doing. Like, I loved doing things when I was 16. I was really passionate about things. But one of the advice which I think, something which I did wrong, was following the crowd or following the stereotypes, right? I was preparing for IITs. I had this in my mind that I want to do this or something else, but I was just following the path of others just because I was too scared to take that fall, right? But I would say one of my biggest learnings in the last 5 years has been that the biggest risk you can take is not take any risks, right? So don't think about taking risks if the risk makes sense, right?
Got it. Crazy. So go for it. That is
Go for it. Yeah, take the fall, and especially if you want to be an entrepreneur. So it's like a really good saying, and we truly believe in this as well. It says that you need to take the fall, right? You need to take the leap of faith and figure out how to survive on the way, right? Even if you feel you're going to die, you still need to take that leap of faith, right? You're going to face a lot of difficulties, and believe me, it's so hard that mentally, physically, you will be challenged in so many ways, right? I've had to make decisions which I really hate. I felt so bad about myself. I hated myself for a while. I've had physical issues, I've had diseases, and still I had to work. So there are basically no excuses, right? So when you take that leap of faith, you can't complain about anything. You just need to get things done, and you don't have a choice.
Beautiful, bro. Thank you. That was the interview today, guys. Obviously, I'm going to link Aayush's handles, Pesto's handles down below. Please go check them out. I'll also link Pesto's website where you can actually go and try to apply to the Pesto program. And until next time, guys, from Aayush, Ranveer, and the team, we'll see you later.